Alright, welcome back to Aaron's 1972 Datsun 510. Today we're going to finish welding the pillars to the rocker panel. There's some spots back here that we need to weld, as well as filling in the rest of these plug welds. And then we are going to head on to the back arch and start cutting here, as well as getting and cutting out this rear fender. The B pillar here was pretty loose, so using clamps I was able to tie into the rocker panel easily. I then moved to the outer portions. I found that once I had the piece somewhat solidly in place, I was able to use a hammer and punch to bring the pieces in towards the rocker panel itself. You know, there are small milestones on a build, and removing this brace from A, B, and C pillars was definitely one of them. So very excited to get that brace back out of the car. This left me quite a bit more room to work here on the car, which made it really nice to get in there on the A pillar and attach the inner panel to the outer panel, as you see me welding right now. I have the rocker panel now welded into all of the pillars. I now have to recreate this front A piece as well as this A pillar piece. So it goes down, so there's a flap. I've welded in the rocker panel to the A pillar, to the B pillar, and it's tied in via the sill to the C pillar, but not fully welded there. And now I need to create the A pillar piece here. So this originally had a piece that followed this same line. So 90-degree bend comes out here, 90-degree bend, and then you can see it's sort of a C shape or a D shape here that follows this line, comes down, attaches here, and then there's a strip that comes down here. So I'll create it out of paper first, sort of mock it up, and then I will go ahead and cut it out of metal. I will be using the thicker metal for this, although the floor pan metal would be much easier to bend with. I haven't decided. Maybe I'll do it that way. But this piece only needs to come like right here and bend down, and it's one singular strip that then gets tacked on. So we'll see how it goes. Anywho. Let's get to it. Making a lot of measurements of the front A pillar enclosure. I then traced it out on a piece of paper, bent into shape, which only required small amounts of trimming before cutting out of metal. Remember to give yourself some extra space to complete the bends, as you can't make a 90-degree bend in zero space, meaning that you do need some space for the metal to actually bend over on itself and make the radius of that turn. If you're new to the channel, I just want to thank you for watching, and I would be grateful if you click that subscribe button down on the bottom right. If you are a returning viewer, I also appreciate you. Go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what you think of the build so far, and tell me whether you think I am just completely destroying this car. I am feverishly working on content, enough to take us through the end of the year on this 510. As well as additional work on the Z to include more how-to versus build blog like the 510. Once I got that piece cut out and the rough edges filed back, I bent the pieces into place. So I made the part. I've got it formed. I gave myself a little bit too big of a gap here, so I'm gonna have to close it, and I'm gonna have to like push these together with welds to bring it up to this, but I'll fix it. Give myself a little bit of extra room here. So now I'll tack it into place along this back side. This I intentionally did it this way. I'm going to actually bend this part down to where it needs to go, and then I'm going to then I'm going to shave this part down sort of after I do the welding or before I do the welding with the grinder, versus trying to get it perfectly and then miss pieces. It's just not worth it. This, I think, is a much better option. So I'm going to bend this tap out. That's underneath here, tack weld it right here, and then put this piece into place.
I clearly didn't turn on the camera for the first part. As you can see, the piece is already largely in place. So using the grinder, I match the wraparound angle to the rocker panel and keep on welding. I left the tabs a bit longer as I can easily take those off with an angle grinder and a cutoff wheel. Which reminds me, I haven't actually done that yet. I then took the angle grinder and removed the rest of the support weld that were left over from the rocker panel welding, as well as the inside from the support piece.
Okay, so lots of grinding, back hurts, but I think I have the front, like 3/4 of the car done. So let's go ahead and walk through it real quick. So the front of the A-pillar is welded into place. It's solidly into the rocker panel. I've gone through, it's not pretty, don't care, all of the different spot welds / plug welds, and have gone through and sort of ground them down, although it looks like I missed one right here, so I'll have to come back for that one, but I got all these ground down all the way back through there. Went ahead and also ground those down. The front of the car is so much more solid than it was. I'm very excited. So anyway, someone's got a moving truck at their house, or Amazon, excuse me. I'm gonna have to trim these pieces obviously to get them in line where they need to be, but this all is pretty much done. Pretty excited. So now I'll have to get back to the rear arch. I don't like the way that this angle right here is done. This doesn't look quite right. I mean, it's fine if I just go and go down, and then I don't have to worry about that angle. Now it's recording a video. I don't know what it's... Okay. So next part of the video, we're going to go ahead and remove the spot welds here. I'm going to cut down along this. And this is going to be replaced with the new piece. This is going to go up and around here. This corner piece and the new corner piece I have don't look exactly the same. So I think I'm actually going to take this over a little bit more, like maybe down here and then up here, and give myself a little extra room in this corner. Maybe bring it out like right here. Because this corner, I'm not comfortable with my ability to get that looking correct, so we'll do that. Spot welds will then be removed off of this along the back, and very little will have to be cut here, as there's a giant hole, rust hole here already, and so we'll then get that piece out. First we have to sort of remove some of the extraneous pieces, such as this light, that, and the tail light. So we'll go ahead and start a very large cut.
The removal of the pillar vent, side light, as well as tail light were very easy. Then I got out my least favorite tool, the wire wheel, which just the other day left a great big wire sticking out of my neck. I always wear proper eye, ear, and skin protection while using that thing, mainly because I've not in the past, and it hurts like the dickens whenever it sticks you. Using the wire wheel, I go ahead and clear off all of the surfaces that I'm going to be cutting along, as well as any of the spot welds that I'll need to go through and the seams around which I'll be cutting. So you saw that on the back fender to the rear panel. I then go ahead and remove the trunk from the car because it's going to start getting in the way of me using the spot weld remover as I move farther up on this seam. The trunk's just held on with 4 10mm bolts, so take them right off, and remember to remove that wire that has a trunk light on it, and I'm able to remove and get the trunk panel right out of the way. Trunk lid, excuse me. Once I remove these spot welds, there's also 2 more spot welds towards the very back of the trunk that you see me getting here that are on the vertical surface. Once I get those, I go ahead and look at the spot welds that are on the inside of the door frame. There's about 4 to 6 here, and then the fender just sort of disappears down into the lower wheel arch. I'm not really 100% sure how it was supposed to be. All I could tell you is that there was a lot of rust there. I've started to use WD-40 as a cutting fluid to keep my drill bits a little bit cooler as I use them, and I think it's actually working quite a bit better. Then I get out the 4.5-inch angle grinder and the cutoff wheel and go ahead and work to remove the last little bits of this fender, and I take it off.
So taking out the spot welds, just doing light cuts here so that way I can then replace this inner thing. Gives me my piece off. I haven't decided exactly where I want to cut this up here, so I gave myself a bit of extra room on both sides just to allow me to sort of cut back and give myself some room here. But look at that. Got this whole entire fender off. I'm pretty excited about that. So go ahead and put it off to the side.
Well, my camera overheated and started to freeze out on me, so I just went ahead and do this voiceover. You can see that the metal itself is just super easy to bend, and there's a lot of like crap behind here. As my camera starts to freak out here, this will be the end of the video. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, and tune in next time whenever I tackle the outer wheel arch and get it welded in and tied into the rocker panel. Thanks for watching, and God bless.